we have to move towards sustainable living. A green healthcare center has a faster recovery rate by 15%. A software center has a higher productivity by 20%. Infosys, Wipro, Mahindra, Tech, you name it, Tech Mahindra, they're all reporting 18 to 20% higher productivity rates. In fact, the last 3 projects inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister, the Goa Mopa Airport, saving 64% energy and 70% water consumption. The Mumbai Metro Rail 7A and 2A, the Tumkur Helicopter Factory, all IGBC certified, and I am indeed thankful to the Honorable Minister that the entire Central Vista is also going to be IGBC certified. So my request to all of you is, we are already doing a lot of green cities, 25 cities right now being certified by us. My aspiration is every city in India must be certified green. The Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation was awarded the 9th IGBC Green Champion Award just in October, because in the category of Metro Rail Authority leading green MRTS movement in India. The state government, also the Urban Development Department, jointly with the Housing and Urban Planning Department, Government of UP, has been chosen as the winner of the 8th IGBC Green Champion Award in 2021. So a lot coming, where we have to see how we can jointly reduce greenhouse emissions, reduce solid waste generation, reduce energy consumption by 50 to 70%, and water consumption by 70 to 90%. By the way, your country has 17.65% of the world's population and only 4% of its fresh water. We have a very serious problem on water. 3,000 children die every day due to diarrhea. This is a bigger problem than AIDS, cancer, or even COVID-19. We lose 3,000 children even today, every day, to waterborne diseases. So my request to the Honorable Minister and the UP government is, let's only build green. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We move on to the last speaker of this section, Mr. Vinay Kumar, who is the Managing Director of NCRTC, and he is going to talk about what has been experience of implementing India's first regional rail in Uttar Pradesh, Gati Se Pragati.
माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री शहरी आवासन एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स श्री हरदीप पुरी जी, उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार के माननीय मंत्री श्री ए.के. शर्मा जी, डायस पे उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार के सीनियर ऑफिसर्स, माय कोलीग्स ऑन द डायस एंड ऑफ द डायस. In the given time, I will be sharing with you a very interesting project which is happening at a very rapid speed, and it is called Regional Rapid Transit System, which will be joining various cities in NCR. But primarily today I will be sharing some information regarding the UP, what we are doing in the state of Uttar Pradesh and how this project is shaping quickly. So 4 years back we started this project under the leadership of Honorable Minister, and today we are doing the trials of the trains at the highest speed which is possible within the country at a speed of 180 km per hour. This happened in spite of COVID. This is a system which will be connecting Delhi to Meerut through Ghaziabad and various other cities and towns, and it will seriously decongest not only the national capital but the whole of the area it will be serving in terms of the traffic congestion on the road or within the city. This was inaugurated in the March 19 by the Honorable Prime Minister. We can see the speed during the COVID time also. We could do the construction because the whole concept was based on sharing of information on the electronic platforms, sharing of information and collaboration with the designers, with the implementers, with the government, and with the funding agencies. Now, if you see some of these pictures, in September 20, we took up this project of developing a depot. Within less than 2 years, the whole depot was commissioned, and today we can see the trains have been received. And see, very quickly we are going to develop a whole small city under the TOD policy, which was being mentioned by Principal Secretary Housing few minutes back. And there will be great opportunities for investors to come and spend or invest in the commercial development and the residential development in the area within the policies of Government of UP, on which we are working very closely with the government. See, the whole point is that within 4 years, now we can develop a project which is very complex technologically, which is complex from the implementation viewpoint, but with the support of the state government and very, very active support from the Ministry of Housing, central government and the state government, we are able to implement this project very quickly. The environment within the state is so positive to work and implement this kind of projects, and these projects, once implemented, will enable lot of investment within the influence zone of the RRTS system. There is a multi-layer mechanism starting from Honorable Chief Minister himself to a high power committee under the chairmanship of Chief Secretary, then Principal Secretary, and there are meetings, there are monitoring meetings at the commissioner and the district level. So there is a whole setup which makes the project implementation much easier in the state of UP today. And that is why probably we could make so much progress in a very limited time frame. We had an issue of getting the land, but Government of UP allowed to work, and they permitted us to work without settling the various issues related to the land transfer to organization. Now this shows the way Government of UP is working. Very quickly the issues which are raised, whether it is at the district level or at the government level, these are immediately considered and settled. Now under the transit-oriented policy, the opportunities are in terms of developing the commercial area. Now if you see, we are working presently with Government of UP on draft master plans of Ghaziabad and Meerut districts, which will benefit in terms of additional FAR, mixed land use, vertical development, transit access, and access to various facilities within this length and breadth of 82 kilometers. We see that within the TOD policy, a large number of zones have been identified where we will be providing very centralized, focused approach to develop healthcare facilities, hospitalities, commercial offices, co-working places, industries. So there is a huge opportunity for investment all along the RRTS corridor. The speed, the effective speed to a customer or a commuter on the system will be about 90 kilometers per hour, so that Delhi, the distance between Meerut and Delhi will reduce to less than 55 minutes. And various stations in between Meerut and Delhi, the distance will be in terms of, if you see the time, it will be faster than the linkage within the Delhi or even from Noida or Greater Noida. So it will become a transit corridor of virtue, and it will be having many opportunities for investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, this is one fine example of when we say reform not because of compulsion, but reform because of conviction. And who better than our chief guest, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, who has been living this motto in and out. I have had the privilege of working with him for last 6 years in the ministry, and I have seen that he actually believes in this. Now, I'd like to invite him for his address to us. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
My colleague, collaborator and friend, Arvind Sharma ji, Amrit Abhijat ji, let me start by complimenting you on the design of this session. It is
extraordinary for a number of reasons. You have curated it in such a manner that we are not just showcasing the achievements of a highly successful state, but you have present here, and I know 3 minutes is a little unfair on the experts who are easing with a lot of knowledge, but I think each one of them have made some very valuable points, and I think getting the experts here to join the discussion has imparted a quality and richness for which I want to compliment you and thank the experts. I have one small issue to pick with my friend and collaborator Sharma ji. He said the state of Uttar Pradesh welcomes you. My only submission is I belong to the state of Uttar Pradesh. And I have always felt welcome here. 3 days after I was inducted into the Council of Ministers by the Honorable Prime Minister, I had the privilege of visiting Lucknow for the inauguration of the metro line then. And I can tell you that experience in terms of the start of a journey has made a very deep impression not only on me but on anyone else who has been associated with Uttar Pradesh's urban story. I have just 2 or 3 things which I want to mention to you without imparting any political judgment to this. One of the first lessons I learned from September 3, 2017, and when I analyzed the unfolding of the central schemes, all of them, not just one, is that after the government headed by the Honorable Chief Minister came in, the pace at which progress was accelerated was unbelievable. Most of our central schemes started in June 2015. It is entirely possible that a new scheme takes a little longer in terms of dissemination of knowledge instead of people being aware. Now I can tell you about the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. My friend Amrit Abhijat, who's now Principal Secretary here, he was a Joint Secretary in the ministry dealing with the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. I think your title was JSHFA, is that correct? Huh? This secretary in the ministry was a gentleman who's now the Chief Secretary of Uttar Pradesh. दोनों ने पूरा दम लगा दिया. They were not able to get a proper demand assessment from the Uttar Pradesh state government on the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. This is the period between June 2015 when the scheme started and when Yogi ji took over. After that, see what happens. I think, if memory serves me right, the total number of demand for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana which came from this large state was 17,000 in that 17-month period. And in the next 17 months after Yogi ji took over, it became 17 lakh. So today Uttar Pradesh is right at the top of the total numbers on Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. My speech, which I am deviating from my prepared text, has all the statistics. How Uttar Pradesh is done in Amrut, how Uttar Pradesh is done on smart cities. But let me share another experience. I was telling the Honorable Minister that when I was in Goa for some meeting and I was told that the Honorable Chief Minister wanted to speak to me, that day we had announced, I think, the names of the next 4 smart cities. So I was telling somebody at the dinner, I think Yogi ji must be very happy that the remaining of the cities to make it a total 10 has been announced. It turned out to be otherwise. He was telling me, हमने तो 7 और मांगी थी, वो आपने दी नहीं. So I told him that under the scheme, you can only give 10 to a state. But they have gone ahead and done the other 7. And what Sharmaji was telling me just now, they have also identified other district headquarters and they will make them into smart cities of that kind. This is what you call progress, that you utilize a central scheme as the seed money, as the incentive, and then you mobilize resources. I must tell you, I was very happy when one of the experts said that this is the voice of the private sector. Let me make an honest, upright confession to you. No government scheme can work unless the private sector is very much central to it. We can only devise an ecosystem. Even under the Smart Cities mission, I don't remember the figures, total 2,05,000 crores. If you look at the center's contribution, if you look at the state's contribution, but I think about 47,000 crores or thereabouts is public-private partnership. If you look at all the other schemes, the private sector is very central to it. And even if you go into the, let's say, affordable housing in partnership, state government provides the land, central government provides 1.5 lakhs to the beneficiary, state government provides the same amount or more, but it's the private sector which will undertake the work. So I want to say that let there be this thing, it's a very constructive, comprehensive partnership between the state, the central government. I could easily take the line, of course nobody would take me seriously, the land is a state subject, central government has nothing to do with it. Instead it's the other way around. We have taken advantage of the fact that the central government can act as a catalyst, as an incentivizer, and ultimately the responsibility is that of the state government. And when you see the figures in Uttar Pradesh, one is delighted. Here is what is called progress in real terms. Let me come back to the context in which this Global Investor Summit is taking place. In the 8 years plus that the Honorable Prime Minister has assumed responsibility, India has moved from being the 9th largest economy in the world to the 5th largest economy. Per capita income in India has gone up and doubled in this period. Today, if we are a $3.5 trillion economy and you're growing at say 6.5% plus, no one who is in anyone, even our detractors who periodically try to cast a negative narrative, will find it difficult to believe that $5 trillion is actually no longer a talking point. You will be a $5 trillion economy at this rate in the next 2 years. But today you are already thinking of another narrative, which is, if I look at a report, I think it was Ernst & Young, which said by 2040 or thereabouts, if the Honorable Prime Minister wants India to be a Viksit Desh or a developed country by 2047, when we're 100, it won't take that long, it will happen earlier. Because the Ernst & Young report says by 2040 or so, India will be a $25 trillion economy or thereabouts. And see what that does to the per capita income. I am absolutely sure that the central flagship missions, starting from Swachhata, I am a regular visitor to Lucknow. I have been in the last 5.5 years that I've been a member of the Council of Ministers. But Sharma ji and I were together in Varanasi the other day. You see the transformation there? If you look at I had been told that this city of Lucknow has been specially prepared for this Global Investor Summit. But my God, it reminded me of an experience I had very soon after joining the Council of Ministers. I visited, I think, Bhopal or Indore. I think it's probably Indore, for a conference, international conference on the 3 R's: reduce, recycle, and reuse, I think. And I speak a little bit of Japanese, so there was a Japanese minister, my counterpart. I asked him, when did you arrive? He said, last evening. I said, how did you spend the evening? I was making polite conversation. He said, I went around the city. So I asked him, doing what? He said, I went around the city looking for dirt. So I was a little taken aback. He said, because I'd been told that Indore is one of the cleanest cities in the world. And here was a certificate coming from a Japanese minister. He said, I couldn't find any. The point I'm making is, the Swachhata mission is the fulcrum of all our central schemes of urban rejuvenation. My distinguished predecessor, who went on to become the Vice President of India, used to use the word renaissance. I'm a little more careful with words, but this is what I see. If you see Lucknow, the way it has turned out for this Global Investor Summit, what is an investor looking for? I'm asking myself, not only these people here, many of them are people I've worked with. An investor is looking for return on his investment, his or her investment. An investor is also wanting to deploy resources for objectives. My friend, whom I call the chief plumber of and green plumber, he wants everything. It's a fact. He says he wants green growth, but so do all of us. So if you come up with projects which give you a good return on investment, plus they help in the green transition. By the way, I would feel equally comfortable in the context of UP if instead of this session on reimagining cities, I was going to be sitting along with the Honorable Minister in a session on green transition, let's say in energy. And I was looking at the figures that this Global Investor Summit has produced in terms of interest by the investing community, in terms of the energy sector. And even though I don't personally deal with, solar and wind and so on, but I do deal with ethanol, with compressed biogas. And I can tell you the kind of policies that the state government has outlined, they're generating a lot of interest. The other day when the Honorable Chief Minister called me and invited me for this, I said I want to bring my CMDs of the oil marketing companies along. I realize that this setting is not right because this is more urban. But I will come for a meeting with the Honorable Chief Minister because they are all very excited. They want to all say, we will take up as per the new policy announced by the UP government to see how many of them can set up how many CBG plants, ethanol plants here. And that is the transition we are making from 1.4% biofuel blending in 2014 to 10.7% now, and it's going to 20% 5 years in advance. It was slated for 2030, we're going to do it by 2025. I was, when my colleague and friend was saying कि 4,000 garbage points हटाए गए और किसी हमारे भाई का घर का पता बदल गया, that is the real story here. Because frankly, what was the situation in 2014? How much of our municipal waste, I'm only talking about municipal waste, was properly reprocessed? I think it was 17%. And from 2014 to 2023, I mean, ideally I would have liked it to be 100%. But look where we've reached, with 76% or thereabouts. And with the kind of technology that we have at our disposal, the fact that we can make energy from waste, the fact that investment is coming in, is not only those 4,000 garbage points which will be reduced, but you're going into a situation, as I see in cities like Surat and Ahmedabad, that the garbage points are under the ground. All you need is a truck coming in here, outside and nothing outside. One of our friends from the private sector spoke about ambition, innovation and opportunity. I want to add something, if I may. Along with ambition, I want to add scale. Because ambition is what you desire, but I think what we are demonstrating here is our capacity to do scaled production. And when you come to green hydrogen, for instance, why will India succeed? Because we have generation of demand, we have the capacity to produce it. You need two things for green hydrogen. You need electrolyzers. A company which has 30% of the global production came to see me the other day and he said, we are in active collaboration with Indian companies to produce that. You produce green hydrogen, but you also need it to be consumed because green hydrogen does not lend itself to long transportation. This is India's success story. That in all these fronts, you are able not only to have ambition, innovation, I agree, opportunity is what private sector and the government working together will produce, but you must be able to scale it. And I think that's scaling up, whether it's a solar cooker that the Honorable Prime Minister unveiled in Bengaluru during India Energy Week, or the E20 fuel that the Honorable Prime Minister started, which is now on a pilot project all over, or it's the sheer magnitude of the housing construction. In the year 2019, as my colleague Mr. Abhijat was reminding me, because I was asking what date was it, the Prime Minister unveiled a global housing technology construction challenge. He invited companies from all over the world to come and display their expertise and their technologies. We shortlisted or impaneled 53 technologies based on that experience. And we took 6 of those technologies to produce lighthouse projects in 6 of our cities to make 1,000 modern, ultra-modern, totally green housing units, 1,000 within 1 year. And we have succeeded. And the beauty of the thing that one of the Honorable Prime Minister wanted to monitor one of the projects, and we got a message that the monitoring will take place based on data which is real time. That is satellite imagery and drones. I think Mr. Abhijat was then the Joint Secretary with me. This is the use of technology. And to those of you who are in the private sector, let me try a bit of, it's not hard sell, it's a fact. Come and visit us in Nirman Bhavan in Delhi. We have on the top floor a place called the Urban Observatory, where through the use of technology, we monitor every project taking place in which of a scale, which we are involved in on a real-time basis. So this is what has brought in a transformational change. Now I could go on and on. It's very unfair. The others got 3 minutes and I'm rambling on. But I'm delighted to be here. I think the timing of this Global Investors Conference is a very significant one because we are now heading into a new... I am not going to touch areas like how much of lithium have we discovered, whether it's 5.9 tons. I'm very circumspect. But let me tell you, there is a revolution taking place out there. Not only in vehicular traffic and urban transport, I'm also the Minister for Urban Transportation, and when the RRTS is rolled out, I don't have time, but let me give you one statistic. In 2002, when Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister, we started the metro system. Today, we are the 5th largest metro system in the world with about 850 kilometers. But in a few months' time, we will become the 3rd largest. Few months. And by next year, we might end up, by 2024 sometime, we might end up as the 2nd largest after China. We would have even surpassed the United States because we have 1,039 kilometers under construction, which is time-bound and taking place. So whether it's urban transport, your cities, one of your experts was saying just now that when you design your new cities, you should conceptualize them in such a way that they can be pedestrian-friendly, cycle-friendly. That's precisely what we are doing. If you look at the design of the smart cities and others, we are bringing the citizen back into the center of it. And I was telling the Honorable Minister, my colleague, that, some months ago, few years ago, we had unveiled a program for senior citizens, what I call affordable homes for senior citizens. This policy we had unrolled. And I'm told that that is receiving attention here because at the heart of all the policies has to be the citizen. especially our elder people, and I'm delighted that UP is taking the lead in that. I could go on and on about the UP achievements, but I think those are staring you in the face. What I would just say is that what makes UP tick is a government which is totally committed to the Prime Minister's ideal that good governance is good politics. And we have a Chief Minister here. I mean, I'm told he gets up कितने 4:30 बजे 5 बजे कितने बजे उठ जाते हैं? No, point is you have a Prime Minister like Mr. Modi and a Chief Minister. None of them have any interest other than the delivery of goods and services to the most vulnerable. And that was shown during the COVID, that was shown in the unfolding of scheme. So the reimagining of cities where the government is concerned, you see it taking place right from the Swachhta, this thing to all the other thing. And today we are in a situation that we not only are going to be capturing the value, land values properly, but world-class cities in the making with the comfort and ease of living for the citizen at the center. Thank you very much.
So now I'll call upon the Honorable Minister for Urban Development for the closing remark.
Friends, after Honorable Minister has spoken, there is no scope for anyone else to say anything. But in conclusion, I would like to assure Honorable Minister that we will work towards the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, towards the vision of Honorable Hardeep Puri ji himself, making India a great nation. Now, in terms of UP's urban development, I want to add, I was talking about a few campaigns which we had launched, sir. As you said, we want to make global cities, our world-class cities. We have, since January this year, we have already launched a campaign called Making Cities as Global Cities. And that campaign is underway. Under that banner only, we have converted Lucknow to be a globally looking city. We have converted Agra, not only Agra and Lucknow, but a number of cities looking as global cities. So we are on the path of reconstructing, re-engineering, and I would also say that we are trying to reimagine our cities as faster, as cleaner and more efficient cities, more integrated, re-engineering them, reimagining them as centers of development, centers of growth, and in that process, the key point, the final point which I want to add now is that all these activities, making them green, making them integrated, making them more efficient, making them transport-wise, making them more faster, making them smarter in terms of technology, digital technology, all these friends concerns to you, and it has a scope, it has an opportunity for investment by the investors like you. And that is why you are sitting here in this hall, listening to all these stories. How does it translate to an activity where you can participate? How does it translate into an opportunity which you can harness? So we are here, and the good news is that in this very global investor summit, our sector, urban development, sir, you will be happy to know that we have out against 32 lakh crores, we have already attracted 2,08,000 crores in terms of investment in the urban development sector, in terms of the activities which we are talking about. 142 investors in the areas like e-waste, waste management, sewage treatment, housing, smart townships, integrated townships, sustainable and other sanitation related activities. You have made investment, you have committed the investment. We commit here on behalf of the government, on behalf of the department. I commit here that we will make our best efforts to facilitate your investments and to make realize your dreams as a successful entrepreneur. At the end, I assure Honorable Minister, Union Minister and Honorable Prime Minister that we will make our own contribution in making India a $5 trillion to $25 trillion economy, from today's India to a developed country. UP also from Bimaru state to one of the growth centers and the growth engines of the developed nation. I also assure all of you that you should be a partner in our journey. We all are here to facilitate you, to hold your hands in terms of need. At the end, I would like to conclude by saying that those who have already signed the MOUs, congratulations. Those who are waiting, you should make use of next 2-3 hours and make your MOU signed, because this opportunity will not come again very soon. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best, and thank you for joining in the session.
मंचासीन अतिथिगण, देवियों सज्जनों और यहाँ उपस्थित सभी विद्वजन, मैं आप सभी का इस सत्र में स्वागत करता हूँ, अभिनंदन करता हूँ. Friends, in this session we are talking about the National Education Policy 2020, particularly about its implementation. As you are aware, this National Education Policy 2020 is the first policy of 21st century, and this was formulated after a gap of 34 years. In the last 2 years, under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, a number of initiatives have been taken by the Ministry of Education, Government of India. The various statutory bodies like University Grants Commission, AICT, and other statutory bodies related to the implementation of education, both in school education and higher education. The Uttar Pradesh is taking a lead in its implementations. And therefore, number of initiatives which are required for the implementation of national education policy at the ground level have been taken under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Yogi Adityanath ji, and also under the leadership of our dynamic ministers and state ministers. Friends, the NEP 2020 is built on the foundational pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. It aims to revamp the education system and transform the qualitative and quantitative aspects of the education in India. The policy emphasizes on bringing back the non-fragmented learning deep-rooted in ancient Indian tradition of holistic and multidisciplinary learning. Therefore, the policy focuses on multidisciplinary and holistic education. The policy focuses on Indian languages, Indian arts, Indian culture, and policy focuses on socially relevant, nationally important, and globally significant resources. The policy also highlights facilitating role for the internationalization of higher education. As I mentioned that several initiatives have been taken by the Government of India, including for facilitating multi-entry and multi-exit. And for that, academic bank of credits regulation have been framed by the University Grants Commission, and these guidelines were launched by the Honorable Prime Minister. Similarly, for internationalization of higher education, earlier the Honorable Prime Minister released the guidelines of UGC, under which the touring programs, joint degree programs, dual degree programs were facilitated, and collaborative arrangements between the Indian higher education system and the foreign higher educational institutions were suggested. But now the UGC has formulated the draft regulations for facilitating foreign higher education institutions for opening their campuses in India, and likewise UGC was also formulating draft for the Indian higher education institutions so that they can also open their campuses abroad. And these draft regulations are available on the website of the UGC. UGC has requested all the stakeholders for their comments by 20th of this month. Another thing which is very important is because the policy envisioned India as the knowledge superpower, and therefore to be a developed nation, to be a lead nation at the global level, it also talks about developing global citizens. The citizens which are responsible Indian citizens, but at the same time, they have the concern about the global issues, and they are also well versed how they can contribute in solving the various global problems. Various state governments, including Uttar Pradesh, they have devised mechanisms for implementation of the policy. I am very happy to share with this August gathering and all the guests from abroad that recently Higher Education Department under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Minister Shri Yogendra Upadhyay ji organized a conclave on higher education for devising the policy related to the higher education institutions and to know each other's expectations, aspirations, and what government can do for various stakeholders. Friend, for higher education and for school education, for technical education, all kinds of education, I just want to say that these times are the transformational times. These times are the happening times, and these times are the enabling times, and these times are the facilitating times, motivating times for the stakeholders to invest in education and skilling. There is an emphasis on vocational education and skill development. There is an emphasis on technology-enabled education, and therefore, holistically, to develop the personality of the learners, the policy emphasizes on yoga also, on sports and games, so that the personality of learners is developed holistically. साथियों, मैं बस इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि जब हम राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति की बात करते हैं, तो ये राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति जहाँ एक ऊंची उड़ान भरने के लिए है, हमें ज्ञान की महाशक्ति बनाने के लिए है भारत को, एक नए भारत के निर्माण के लिए है, एक सशक्त, समर्थ और सक्षम और विकसित भारत के निर्माण के लिए है, और उसमें नए भारत के निर्माण में उत्तर प्रदेश है वो एक महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाने वाला है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के दिव्य नेतृत्व में और कुशल नेतृत्व में जब हम आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं तो हमें देखना चाहिए कि जो कुछ हमारे पास श्रेष्ठ है, अच्छा है, चाहे वो हमारी परंपराएं हो, चाहे वो हमारी संस्कृति हो, चाहे हमारे मानवीय मूल्य हो, उनको हमें कंजर्व रखना है, बनाए रखना है, उसके साथ नए को जोड़ना है. And therefore we have to look backward and we have to go forward. और जब हम ये देखेंगे तो अपनी संस्कृति, अपनी विरासत, इन सब का हमें ध्यान रखना होगा और उसी के सहारे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. आज माहौल बना है जब पूरे विश्व में जो कुछ भारत में हो रहा है, नई पहल उसकी स्वीकृति हो रही है, चाहे वो योग हो, चाहे वो आयुर्वेद हो, आयुष हो, चाहे वो हमारा भारत जिसके लिए जाना जाता है सत्य, अहिंसा, शांति, सदाचरण और प्रेम के लिए, उसकी पुनर्स्थापना हो रही है. वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का माहौल बन रहा है. आइए भारत इसमें आगे बढ़े और उत्तर प्रदेश इसमें अग्रणी भूमिका निभाए. मैं उस शिक्षा विभाग, तकनीकी शिक्षा विभाग, स्कूल शिक्षा विभाग की सराहना करता हूं, उनके सभी प्रमुख सचिवों की भी सराहना करता हूं माननीय मंत्रीगणों के नेतृत्व में. और ये माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के कुशल मार्गदर्शन में हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. आप सबका सहयोग मिले इसकी आशा करता हूं. धन्यवाद. जय हिंद.
Thank you so much, Professor D.P. Singh. Now I would request Mr. Vadim Lobov from Synergy University, Dubai and Moscow to please join us on the stage. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am happy to be here in this conference. And first of all, I want to say thank you to Minister of Higher Education. Okay, great. Now it's better. One more time. Thank you about participants in this conference. For me, it's very important. And first of all, I want to say again thank you for the Minister of Education, Mr. Yugandhar Upadhyay. Thank you very much about this. What I'm thinking important. Relationship between education system of Russia and India are very strong for the long time until Soviet Union and now in Russia. And this relationship is very important because in the next step we have the good project and business culture, etc. And I believe that in the next 5-10 years we will see the great increase of this relationship between our countries. I believe that it will be, and it's why I'm here. Synergy University already have agreement and collaboration project with more than 20 universities in India. So student Synergy from Moscow campus, from Dubai campus, going to study some experience in the Indian university, and we invite the people from this country. And now in this visit we will have more than 10 agreements again. What Synergy can bring for the university in India from our strong experience, and especially for this state, for UP, we have several strong things. One of them is a skill-based education. Synergy make a lot for this concept, and all our students usually placed for the big companies in Russia. And we try to do this experience international. So we try to give opportunity for students in India to take some practice in the Russian company. The another thing that also I think very important is online education. Now in Russia we have more than 1,000 students, more than 100,000 students, they are studying online. And Synergy is a leader of online education in Russia. So, and it's very important to now because it's give some equal success to the people from the poor families to take education, and especially it's understandable after pandemic that it's a very good form education. Also, we create more than 20 years the educational program in sport. So before us, we have the speakers that talked about the sport education and about sport, and I think the program of Synergy in sport education can be very useful here. And the last things that we can bring here in the UP, it's a conference. Synergy create a lot of them, more than 100, and one of them is educational conference. We do it in Russia, we do it in Dubai, and we will dream to do it here in the UP maybe this year or next year. So we are really interested to invite speakers in education from different countries and have the discussion, big discussions how to create the big future for the education system. And also maybe in the next step, in the next 5 years, so Synergy will be very interesting to open the campus here in the state. It will be very great. One more time, thank you about the opportunity to say some words here, and I hope that it will be just start education collaboration between Synergy and education system here in UP. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Next, we're going to have the movie that talks about the complete agenda for this. Let's have a look at the AV, please.
Under the visionary leadership of Honorable PM Narendra Modi, a wave of educational excellence is sweeping through the nation, transforming the educational institution and infrastructure with effective policies and schemes.
बड़ी भूमिका होती है हमारी शिक्षा की, हमारी शिक्षा व्यवस्था की, हमारी शिक्षा परंपरा की.
The state of Uttar Pradesh is leading this revolution under the supervision of Honorable CM Yogi Adityanath in cooperation with the Higher Education Department.
आज इस सत्र में राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति हर शिक्षण संस्थान में लागू करने की कार्रवाई प्रारंभ हुई है.
Determined to provide all the necessary facilities to students from backward regions and to digitize the IT ecosystem of all university, government colleges, non-government and self-financed colleges. While adding e-learning parks, Wi-Fi campuses and improved connectivity in government colleges operating at Tehsil block level. Supported by initiatives like the capital sum of 1 crore rupees is dedicated to developing e-content for learning, developing NIC portal for online counseling of selected lecturers, expending 1.2 lakh books in the library on languages and various courses, managing details of teaching and non-teaching staff through the Manav Sampada portal, establishing new colleges in 22 blocks of 8 districts of Uttar Pradesh and Nepal border area development program, while increasing multi-dimensional development and cultural exchange programs, opening model government colleges in the 26 educationally backward districts under the National Higher Education Campaign. Also, enhancing the potential of teachers through short-term training courses and rewarding teachers with a great contribution to the higher education sector. Enabling a 360-degree development of every aspect of higher education in the state. The government also plans to focus on new areas of education like research and development with the introduction of e-library, science and commerce, establishment of smart classes, development of sports infrastructure and introduction of seminars and symposia platforms, implementation of NEP 2020 at all level, ensure multidisciplinarity. There is no restriction to opt minor or elective subject, with no restriction on changing subjects at any level, enabling a fast learner to earn credits from recognized online courses and complete his or her degree program earlier, making internship, apprenticeship, OJT and other training mandatory part of skill course. Announcing schemes like fund of 10 crore rupees for the upgradation of laboratories and 2.3 crore rupees scientific and technical books for science faculty subjects. Fund allocation of 10 crore rupees to 58 state colleges for the establishment of smart classes, with plans to open new universities like Mahayogi Guru Shri Gorakshanath Research Peeth, Gorakhpur, Bhaurao Devras Shodhpeeth and Abhinav Gupta Institute of Shaiva Philosophy and Aesthetics, Lucknow, and many more. So join us in writing the golden chapter in the history of the state and redefining the education ecosystem for the young minds of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, New India's growth engine.
Now let's have the MOU signing. For MOU, I would like to call few people on the stage. I would request all of you to please join us. Mr. Pradeep Kumar Gupta from Sharda University. I'm calling all of them together. The next is Professor Amaya Bhaumik from Lincoln Education Academy. The next we have Mr. Sunil Ji from Vedic and Futuristic Edutech. Next we have Antriksh Sharma from GS College of Pharmacy. Fifth is Mr. Ajay Kumar Shahi, RPM Academy. Sixth, Mr. Dushyant Setia from Cambridge, UK. The next we have Mr. Girish from Maharishi Mahesh, Yogi International Agriculture University. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of them, please? All the ones who are done, I would request all of you to please step down. And now after the MOU signing is done, हाँ जी. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the ladies and gentlemen who signed the MOU. Now I would request everybody to please take their seats back. Now I would like to call our chief guest, Shri Yogendra Upadhyay ji, the Cabinet Minister, Higher Education and Science and Technology, Electronics and Information Technology, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
मंच पर आसीन उच्च शिक्षा की राज्य मंत्री रजनी जी, माध्यमिक शिक्षा की मंत्री गुलाबो देवी जी, प्राविधिक शिक्षा के मंत्री आशीष जी, यूजीसी के पूर्व चेयरमैन और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के उच्च शिक्षा में विशेष सलाहकार धीरेन्द्र जी, सम्मानित मंच, उपस्थित सभी बंधुओं, सबसे पहले मैं राम, कृष्ण और शिव की इस प्रागट्य भूमि पर आप सबका स्वागत करना चाहता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। मित्रों, समय कम है क्योंकि माननीय राष्ट्रपति, महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी आने वाली हैं। अपने विषय को बहुत संक्षिप्त में ले जाऊंगा मैं। एनईपी 2020 की आवश्यकता क्यों पड़ी? इससे पहले भी शिक्षा चलती थी पूरे देश में, राष्ट्र में, लेकिन एनईपी 2020 क्योंकि हमारी शिक्षा को नए कलेवर से जोड़ना था, राष्ट्र की चिति से जोड़ना था, राष्ट्र की प्रकृति से जोड़ना था। मित्रों, गुरुकुल के समय भी हमारी शिक्षा थी और हमारी शिक्षा के वो उस समय के सिद्धांत थे, कुछ आयाम थे कि हम शिक्षा के लिए, ज्ञान के लिए सभी द्वार खुले रखेंगे, दशों दिशाओं के द्वार खुले रहेंगे। शिक्षा को जोड़ने के लिए किया गया, शिक्षा को संस्कार के लिए, शिक्षा को संस्कृति के लिए, शिक्षा को ज्ञान के लिए, विज्ञान के लिए, यह हमारी पुरानी शिक्षा थी। लेकिन कालांतर में उसका स्वरूप बदला और जब स्वरूप बदला तो यह आवश्यकता पड़ी आज की शिक्षा नीति के लिए। हमारे पूर्व में जहां से शिक्षा मिले, मैंने जैसे कहा, संस्कृत साहित्य की एक उक्ति है जिसका अर्थ है कि शिक्षा जहां से भी मिले सब तरफ की दिशाएं और दरवाजे खोल के रखना चाहिए। हमने पशु पक्षियों से, यहां की जड़ और चेतन से भी शिक्षा ग्रहण की है। वृक्ष फल नहीं खात है, नदी न पीवे नीर, परमारत के कारणे साधुन धरा शरीर। यानी जड़ से भी, वृक्ष और नदियों से भी परमार्थ का संस्कार शिक्षा के माध्यम से समाज तक कैसे पहुंचे, यह हमारी शिक्षा रही है। बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ जैसे पेड़ खजूर, पंछी को छाया नहीं फल लागे अति दूर। इस समाज में जो बड़ा है उसका क्या दायित्व है समाज के लिए, यह संस्कार कहां से आएगा? हमने इस वृक्षों से भी यह संस्कार लिया और शिक्षा के माध्यम से समाज तक पहुंचाया। यह शिक्षा थी हमारी। शिक्षा संस्कार से जुड़े, शिक्षा डिग्री का माध्यम ना बने, शिक्षा ज्ञान का माध्यम बने। किसी विद्वान ने यह कहा है कि पढ़ना जरूरी है लेकिन उससे ज्यादा सीखना जरूरी है। पढ़ना तो पढ़ा लिखा तो कभी भूल सकता है आदमी जो पढ़ा हुआ, लेकिन सीखा हुआ कभी नहीं भूल सकता। इसलिए पढ़ाई के साथ साथ, पढ़ने के साथ उसको सीखना भी, यह जरूरी है, यह हमारी शिक्षा थी। और शिक्षा नीति एनईपी का मूल आधार भी यही है, अपने अतीत के वैशिष्ट्य को वर्तमान की आधुनिकता से समाविष्ट करना, यह एनईपी 2020 में है। मित्रों, यही मूल आधार है एनईपी का। शिक्षा को संस्कार से जोड़ना, शिक्षा को रोजगार से जोड़ना, शिक्षा को तकनीक से जोड़ना, यह न्यूक्लियस है एनईपी का। और इस न्यूक्लियस के परिधि में पूरी शिक्षा की योजनाएं बनती हैं, शिक्षा के कार्यक्रम बनते हैं। यही 2020 की एनईपी की देन है। और इससे यह योजनाएं बनी है कि शिक्षा मात्र डिग्री के लिए नहीं है, शिक्षा ज्ञान, विज्ञान, अनुसंधान, विचार, विवेक, इस सब से जोड़ती है, हमको संस्कार से जोड़ती है। यह शिक्षा के मूल में होना चाहिए। शिक्षा से विचार मिले, शिक्षा से संस्कार मिले, शिक्षा से रोजगार मिले, शिक्षा से संसार मिले, लोक और परलोक दोनों सुधरें, यह शिक्षा होनी चाहिए। यह हमारी एनईपी 2020 देती है। और इसके अमलीकरण के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश ने शिक्षा को नए कलेवर में आगे बढ़ाया है। हमने समाज और सरकार, ये शिक्षा से कैसे जुड़े, राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर शिक्षा कैसे जुड़े, क्योंकि हम जोड़ने पर विश्वास करते हैं, तोड़ने पर नहीं। शिक्षा यह भी सिखाती है कि व्यक्ति परिवार से कैसे जुड़े, परिवार समाज से कैसे जुड़े, समाज राष्ट्र से कैसे जुड़े, राष्ट्र दुनिया से कैसे जुड़े और दुनिया पूरी सृष्टि से कैसे जुड़े, यह हमें शिक्षा बताती है। यही एनईपी का मूल आधार है। और इसी कलेवर में हमने समाज और सरकार ने मिलकर उत्तर प्रदेश में नई शिक्षा के कलेवर दिया है, नए शिक्षा के आयाम दिए हैं। पिछले दिनों 3 राजकीय विश्वविद्यालय का निर्माण हो रहा है उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर। शिक्षा का प्रसार और प्रचार कितना बढ़ रहा है, ये आपके सामने बताना चाहता हूं। कितना हम आगे जो इससे जुड़ना चाहते हैं, उसको हम किससे प्रोत्साहन कर रही है उत्तर प्रदेश की योगी जी की सरकार, मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, उनके दिशा निर्देशन में, कि 3 तो राजकीय विश्वविद्यालय का निर्माण शुरू हो गया है, 11 निजी विश्वविद्यालय को आशय पत्र निर्गत किए जा चुके हैं। इससे शिक्षा में सुधार होगा, क्वालिटी में सुधार होगा। और 14 निर्गत पत्र दिए जाने की बिल्कुल तैयारी है, प्रक्रिया में शामिल है। पूरा राष्ट्र एक है, यह हम शिक्षा के माध्यम से बताना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि पूरे राष्ट्र के जहां के भी, कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी, कामाख्या से कामरूप, जहां के भी लोग आके जुड़ रहे हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर, हम शिक्षा के लिए उनको आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। विश्वविद्यालय खोलने के लिए दरवाजे खुले हुए हैं हमारे प्रदेश सरकार के। पिछले कुछ 1 साल के अंदर ही इतनी प्रगति हुई है कि निजी विश्वविद्यालयों को अवसर प्रदान किया गया है। राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर सबका इसमें समावेश हो। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर में भी भारत सरकार की नीतियों के अनुरूप और यूजीसी के योजनाओं के अनुरूप अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के विश्वविद्यालयों को भी आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं हम लोग। यहां हमारे रशिया के भी कुछ मित्र बैठे हैं, और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के लोग कैसे जुड़े, यहां पर कैंपस खोलें या यहां के विश्वविद्यालयों से एमओयू करें, यह मात्र कोई व्यापार नहीं, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की जो हमारी दर्शन है उसका प्रतीक है ये। मित्रों, तो हम लोग एक अभी कॉन्क्लेव किया था एक, उसमें पूरे देश से बड़े बड़े विद्वानों ने भाग लिया, कुलाधिपति कुलपतियों ने भाग लिया और योजना बनाई। उसके निष्कर्ष निकले, उसकी एक थ्योरी तैयार हुई कि कैसे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, और पूरे विश्व को आमंत्रित किया है इस समिट में। और उसके परिणाम हुए हैं कि इस ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट के में अब तक 74 निवेशकों ने हमको हमारे साथ एमओयू किए हैं। 1,59,027 करोड़ के एमओयू साइन हुए हैं यहां पर। और इस सब से रोजगार के अवसर उत्पन्न होंगे, जहां शिक्षा को विकास होगा, शिक्षा को विस्तार मिलेगा, नया आसमान मिलेगा, वहीं 6.84 लाख लोगों के लिए रोजगार का सृजन भी होगा। तो अब उत्तर प्रदेश में अपार संभावनाएं हैं। मैं आप सबको आमंत्रित करता हूं कि शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में उत्तर प्रदेश में इन संभावनाओं को देखते हुए आप आएंगे, सरकार आपके लिए अपने द्वार खोले रखेगी। स्वागत है आपका, धन्यवाद।
मैं चाहूंगी जोरदार तालियां हो जाए मंत्री जी के लिए प्लीज। I'm now finally going to call Dr. Sudhir M. Bobred. He is the Principal Secretary, Higher Education, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. In Global Investment Summit 2023 के उच्च शिक्षा के सत्र के अवसर पर मंच पर विराजमान आज के मुख्य अतिथि उच्च शिक्षा मंत्री उत्तर प्रदेश शासन, मंचासीन उच्च शिक्षा राज्य मंत्री जी, मंच पर विराजमान प्राविधिक शिक्षा मंत्री जी, मंचासीन माध्यमिक शिक्षा एवं बेसिक शिक्षा मंत्रीगण, आज के इस सेशन के कीनोट स्पीकर माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के शिक्षा सलाहकार प्रोफेसर डीपी सिंह जी, मंच पर विराजमान कुलपति लखनऊ विश्वविद्यालय श्री आलोक राय, आज मंच पर हमने विशेष रूप से आमंत्रित किए हुए हमारे वक्तागण जिनको बोलने का मौका नहीं मिला, ऐसे श्री राकेश शर्मा जी, सुकेश यादव जी, अमेय भौमिक जी, मैं आप सभी का उच्च शिक्षा विभाग की तरफ से सहृदय बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। I would like to specially thank Vadim Lobo, who is Vice Chancellor and from Russian University, Synergy University. It's a private university and they have shown interest to invest in UP. I also thank all the delegates who have come from Japan, who have come from Russia, who have come from other countries. हमारे पास बहुत सीमित समय है क्योंकि आदरणीय महामहिम राष्ट्रपति महोदया इस पूरे सेशन का ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट का अंतिम सत्र में भाग लेने के लिए मुख्य पंडाल में आ रही है। उसके कारण बहुत सीमित समय में हमें ये सत्र समाप्त करना पड़ रहा है, लेकिन इतना मैं जरूर बताना चाहूँगा कि माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी और माननीय उच्च शिक्षा मंत्री जी के बहुत डायनेमिक लीडरशिप में पिछले 5 से 6 महीने में हमने लगभग 23 नए लेटर ऑफ इंटेंट प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को जारी किए हैं। We have also conducted the private university conclave on the 4th February, just 8 days back, and it was very successful. We have also received many policy suggestions from the private university, particularly increasing the FAR, increasing the floor areas, increasing the FAR in urban areas, and we are positively considering all these policy suggestions. I can assure you from this forum that UP government will definitely is looking at a gross enrollment ratio, and right now we are at gross enrollment ratio of 23.8. Our target is by 2030 we have to cross this ratio to 30. To increase this gross enrollment ratio, we have to have, it's a mandatory that additional infrastructure for getting these students should be constructed, and private university plays very, very important role in this. The state sector universities, they are also doing the balancing act as far as the affordability of services given to the consumers or students who are not that much lucky to pay the price which private university is asking. So once on one side we have private university, on other side we have balancing act by the state sector university, but both the universities are going to give the quality education, and I'm very happy to announce that under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister and the Higher Education Minister, the NAC accreditation that is taking a very fast, rapid progress in the state, both in private sector as well as the state sector. I once again take this opportunity to thank all my esteemed guests who are present on the dais as well as in this tent, and I really thank you once again from the bottom of my heart and from the state sector and on my personal behalf. Thank you so much, and I close my remarks with this session that we expect many more suggestions from the foreign universities who want to open a campus and who want to have a policy inclusions in the state sector. I welcome your all policy sessions, and I assure that we will take very, very positive and open action on this. तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपना भाषण समाप्त करता हूं। सभी को पुनः धन्यवाद देते हुए अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you so much, Dr. Sudhir. I would now request if all of us could stand up for the group picture, and then I would hardly request our gentlemen to please present our delegates with the ODOP gifts. सर पहले सारे पिक्चर के लिए आ जाए, सारे खड़े हो जाएं, यहीं पे आपको खड़े होकर ODOP वो करा देना। I would like to thank Shri Amit ji, Shri Sudhir ji, our Minister Shri Yogendra Upadhyay ji, and everybody else, everybody present on the dais for making out time for this Decoding National Education Policy session. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for your valuable time and knowledge.
UAE, and many of them
प्रदेश की राजधानी लखनऊ से लगभग 200 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर औरैया जिला स्थित है। ये जिला देश के सबसे लंबे एक्सप्रेसवे लखनऊ आगरा एक्सप्रेसवे से महज 45 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर स्थित है। दिबियापुर औद्योगिक नगरी औरैया जिले का महत्वपूर्ण अंग है। यहाँ पर गेल इंडिया और एनटीपीसी की 2 महत्वपूर्ण इकाइयाँ स्थापित हैं, जिनका इस क्षेत्र के आर्थिक विकास में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है। औरैया जिले के विकास खंड भाग्यनगर स्थित परवाहा गांव में प्रमुख रूप से धान, गेहूं और मक्का की खेती होती है। परवाहा गांव की कुल आबादी 1403 है। यहाँ छोटी जोत के किसान हैं, जो सिंचाई के लिए मुख्य रूप से नहर का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। परवाहा गांव की मुख्य विशेषता खेती के साथ पशुपालन और बकरी पालन है। परवाहा क्षेत्र की भूमि कुछ समय पहले पूरी तरह से ऊसर थी, लेकिन कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र परवाहा की स्थापना के बाद ये भूमि उपजाऊ हो गई है। आज इस क्षेत्र में न केवल धान की अच्छी फसल ली जा रही है, बल्कि धान के बीज उत्पादन पर भी जोर दिया जा रहा है। परवाहा क्षेत्र में पुरुषों के साथ महिलाएं भी खेती और पशुपालन में बढ़ चढ़कर हिस्सा ले रही हैं। यहीं की एक महिला किसान हैं, गीता देवी, जिन्होंने वैज्ञानिक तरीके से खेती करके इस क्षेत्र का नाम रोशन किया है। ये हैं गीता देवी। इनकी उम्र लगभग 45 साल है। परवाहा गांव की रहने वाली गीता देवी कृषि कार्यों से जुड़ी हुई हैं। गीता के पास पैतृक जमीन 0.8 एकड़ है, जिस पर वो साल भर खेती करती थी, लेकिन उन्हें अनाज का अच्छा उत्पादन नहीं मिल पा रहा था। इन्होंने खेती के साथ पशुपालन भी अपनाया, फिर भी इनकी माली हालत में कोई सुधार नहीं हुआ। वर्ष 2015 में इन्होंने कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र परवाहा से प्रशिक्षण लिया और उत्पादन को बढ़ाया। इन्होंने वैज्ञानिक तरीके से ऊसर भूमि का सुधार किया। ऊसर सुधार के लिए ये धान के पुआल को जलाती नहीं है। इसके प्रबंधन के लिए धान की कटाई ऊपर से करती हैं और धान के पुआल को गेहूं की बुआई के बाद पूरे खेत में बिछा देती हैं, जिससे गेहूं का जमाव अच्छा होता है और पानी की भी बचत होती है। पुआल के प्रबंधन के साथ साथ भूमि की उर्वरा शक्ति भी बढ़ती है।
मेरे पास 4 एकड़ जमीन है। मैं धान गेहूं करती हूँ और ऊसर सुधार के लिए मैं पुआल खेतों में फैलाती हैं, पानी लगाकर सड़ा देती हैं, फिर उसमें धान लगाती हूँ। धान काटने के बाद मैं अथपर धान काटती हूँ, पुआल को इकट्ठा कर लेती हूँ, फिर बाद में हम गेहूँ बोने के बाद पुआल को खेत में फैला देती हूँ, जिससे मेरे खेत की नमी रहे और बीज भी अच्छा जमे और इसमें खरपतवार भी नहीं होता है।
प्रशिक्षण लेने के उपरांत उन्होंने अपने खेतों पे सबसे प्रथम चरण में मेड़बंदी किया, खेत को समतल किया। समतल करने के बाद जो धान का पुआल था उसको एक मोटी परत जो है उसको बिछाया। बिछाने के बाद उसमें उन्होंने पानी भरा। पानी भरने के बाद 90 दिन के अंदर जो है पुआल जो है सड़ गया। जो पीएच था 10 से ऊपर 9 से नीचे आ गया।
गीता देवी की जमीन कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र परवाहा के बगल में ही है, इसलिए गीता देवी कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र के वैज्ञानिकों के निरंतर संपर्क में रहती हैं। गीता देवी वैज्ञानिकों के सहयोग से धान की ऊसर प्रजाति CSR 36 का बीज उत्पादन कर रही हैं। ये 8 क्विंटल बीज उत्पादन कर 30 से 35 हजार रुपए अतिरिक्त आमदनी कमा रही हैं। इनके पति राजेंद्र पाल इनको कृषि कार्यों में पूरा सहयोग कर रहे हैं।
CSR 36 का बीज हम धान लगाती हूँ, उसमें जो सूखे खेत में या गीले में धान हो जाता है और हमें उसमें धान में मुनाफा भी होती है। धान का बीज मतलब आस पड़ोस वालों को धान मैं बीज में बेचती हूँ और धान बाजार में भी बेचती हूँ।
खेती के अलावा गीता देवी ने पशुपालन के क्षेत्र में भी सफलता प्राप्त की है। पशुओं का दूध ये शहर में बेच रही हैं, जिसके दाम इन्हें अच्छे मिल रहे हैं। गीता आज पशुपालन से 60,000 तथा बीज और फसल उत्पादन से 75,000 रुपए सालाना कमा रही हैं।
मेरे पास 3 भैंसें हैं, एक गाय है। वे मुर्री टाइप नस्ल की अच्छी नस्ल की भैंसें हैं, मुर्री टाइप की, और वे दूध भी देती हैं जो 30-35 लीटर दूध हो जाता है। वो हम बाजार में बेचती हूँ। मेरे पास बड़ी नस्ल की बकरी हैं। वे देखने में भी अच्छी लगती हैं और बाजार में महंगी बिकती हैं।
गीता देवी द्वारा पशुपालन करने के कारण उन्हें जैविक खाद भी प्राप्त हो रही है। जैविक खाद का प्रयोग वह ऊसर भूमि में करके उसकी उपजाऊ क्षमता बढ़ा रही हैं। उन्हें फसल उत्पादन भी गुणवत्तापूर्ण प्राप्त हो रहा है और वे रासायनिक खाद के दुष्प्रभाव से भी फसलों को बचा रही हैं। गीता देवी ने पशुपालन और खेती के माध्यम से अपनी आर्थिक स्थिति को बेहतर किया है।
दूध बेचकर मैंने प्लाट भी लिए, मकान भी बनवाया और मैंने बच्चों को पढ़ाया। पढ़ाने के बाद और मैंने खेती भी खरीदी। उस समय 4 बीघा मेरे पास ज़मीन थी। अब इस समय 4 एकड़ ज़मीन मैंने खरीद ली है और बच्चों को पढ़ाया।
परिवार और बच्चों के साथ आज गीता खुशहाल जीवन बिता रही हैं। गीता देवी ने धान की ऊसर प्रजाति CSR 36 का बीज उत्पादन करके अपने गांव और आसपास के लोगों को भी बीज उपलब्ध करा रही हैं, जिससे आसपास के क्षेत्रों में भी फसल उत्पादन और उसकी गुणवत्ता बढ़ी है। धान की CSR 36 प्रजाति 135 दिन में पककर तैयार हो जाती है। ये सूखे क्षेत्रों और जल भराव क्षेत्र के लिए भी उपयुक्त मानी जाती है। इसमें कल्ले ज्यादा निकलते हैं और इसका मूल्य भी अच्छा मिलता है।
धान की प्रजाति CSR 36 जो है लवण के प्रति सहनशील है। उत्पादन क्षमता इसका 60 से 70 क्विंटल है। इसमें नंबर्स ऑफ ब्रांचेज जो इसमें शाखा निकलती है 50 से 55 कल्ले इसमें निकलते हैं और इससे किसान को उत्पादन ज़्यादा मिलती है।
हमने पिछली साल 5 एकड़ CSR 36 धान लगाया था, बहुत अच्छा हुआ था और इसकी ये विशेषता है कि ये जल भराव और उसरीली भूमि हो चाहे ऊंची भूमि हो, सब में ये अच्छा होता है और इस बार भी हमने लगाया है।
गीता देवी द्वारा ऊसर सुधार के लिए किया गया प्रबंधन बेहतरीन है। ये पद्धति गांव और आसपास के किसान भी अपना रहे हैं और इससे भूमि की उपजाऊ शक्ति भी बढ़ रही है। गीता देवी के प्रयास से गांव की लगभग 90% भूमि का सुधार हुआ है।
जमीन ऊसर किस्म की थी, उसको मैंने मेड़बंदी करके समतलीकरण करके गहरी जुताई करके धान उगाने लगे हैं। धान भी अच्छा होता है। ऊपरी यानी हिस्सा काट करके पराली को मैं गहरी जुताई से खेत में मिला देता हूँ, फिर जिप्सम डालता हूँ। जिप्सम डाल के पानी पलेवा करता हूँ, समझे, उसको यानी फिर गेहूँ बोता हूँ और बो करके फिर उसमें पराली डालते हैं, बिछाते हैं, जिससे उसकी नमी न उड़ने पाए, तो भरपूर गेहूं पैदा होता है।
गीता देवी के द्वारा किए गए पशुपालन कार्यों से गांव के अन्य लोग भी प्रभावित हो रहे हैं। अनेक लोग दूध का उत्पादन कर शहर में उसे बेच रहे हैं और अच्छा मुनाफा कमा रहे हैं। गांव के लोग जैविक खाद का प्रयोग अपने खेतों में कर रहे हैं और रासायनिक खाद के खर्चे से बच रहे हैं।
मेरे पास 3 भैंसें हैं, 1 गाय है जो अच्छा दूध दे रही है। इस समय गांव में दूध की कम कीमत मिलती है, इसलिए हम गांव में दूध नहीं देते हैं। मैं अपने दिव्यापुर में जाकर उस दूध को बेचती हूँ, वहाँ से अच्छा पैसा मिलता है। गाय का भैंस का जो गोबर होता है, मैं गोबर गैस में डालती हूँ, उससे खाना बनाती हूँ। खाना बनाने के बाद जो वो गोबर जो होता है बाद में बेकार हो जाता है, मैं अपने खेतों में उसके गोबर से छिड़काव करती हूँ, जिससे मुझे उर्वरक की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती। मैं उसी से अपनी खेती करती हूँ।
गीता देवी ने कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र परवाहा के बीच एक कड़ी का काम किया है। ये गांव की महिलाओं को कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र से जोड़ रही हैं और वर्मी कंपोस्ट उत्पादन और ऊसर सुधार कार्यक्रमों से संबंधित प्रशिक्षण में सहयोग कर रही हैं।
गीता देवी धान की प्रजाति CSR 36 का बीज उत्पादन कर रही हैं। अन्य किसानों के खेतों पे भी बीज उत्पादन करा रही हैं। जनपद में जो बीज की कमी थी उन सभी किसानों को जो है वो बीज उपलब्ध करा रही हैं। गीता देवी की आमदनी तो दोगुनी हो ही रही है, साथ साथ अन्य किसान जो उनके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं उनकी भी आमदनी दोगुनी हो रही है।
इस प्रकार ये कहा जा सकता है कि गीता देवी ने महिला सशक्तिकरण में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। उन्होंने कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र परवाहा की मदद से ऊसर भूमि को उपजाऊ बनाकर अपनी और अन्य लोगों की आय में वृद्धि की है।
देख रहे हो राजीव?
हाँ भास्कर, कैसे कैसे लोग हैं। दूसरी पटरी से आकर देखिए, आगे गाड़ी लगा दी, पीछे देखो जाम बढ़ता ही जा रहा है। लोग मानते ही नहीं है। पता नहीं जाम लगाने में इनका समय बर्बाद नहीं होता, बल्कि दूसरे राहगीरों की भी परेशानी बढ़ती है। पता नहीं किसको कहाँ जाना है, बेचारा यही फंसा हुआ है।
पता है राजीव, ये गाड़ियां जितनी देर तक जाम में खड़ी रहेंगी उतना ही तेल खर्च होगा और ध्वनि प्रदूषण के साथ वायु प्रदूषण भी बढ़ता रहेगा। अरे कई बार तो एम्बुलेंस जाम में फंसी रह जाती है और सही समय पर इलाज ना मिलने पर मरीज की मौत तक हो जाती है।
अभी आगे देखिए, आगे चौराहे का और भी बुरा हाल है। क्या यातायात जाम से निजात पाने का कोई पुख्ता उपाय नहीं है?
उपाय है राजीव। यातायात पुलिसिंग को दुरुस्त की जाए और हर चौराहे पर सीसीटीवी कैमरा के जरिए निगरानी करनी चाहिए। जो ट्रैफिक नियम तोड़े उसका चालान होना चाहिए। हर चौराहे पर कम से कम 50 मीटर पहले डिवाइडर बनाकर लेफ्ट टर्न बना देना चाहिए, जिससे बाईं तरफ से आने वालों को हरी बत्ती का इंतजार नहीं करना पड़ेगा और तो और जाम से मुक्ति मिल जाएगी। और हाँ राजू, हम सबको यातायात नियमों का पालन करने का संकल्प लेना होगा और इसके प्रति सबको जागरूक करना होगा।
सही कहा आपने। यातायात जाम से मुक्ति दिलाने में मैं ट्रैफिक पुलिस का साथ दूंगा और लोगों को जागरूक भी करूंगा। यातायात नियमों में बरतो सख्ती, तभी मिलेगी जाम से मुक्ति।
आ रहा हूँ बाबा। काफी लेट हो गया ना।
पागल लड़के, ये क्या किया तूने? ऐसे कूड़ा फेंकते हैं सड़क पर? रुक, तुझे तो मैं बताती हूँ।
छोड़ो ना रश्का, जाने दो। किसी को सबक सिखाने का ये तरीका ठीक नहीं है।
नहीं अभिनव, तुम नहीं जानते इन लोगों को। ये लोग ऐसे ही हैं। पता नहीं क्या मजा आता है इन्हें सड़क पर इस तरह कूड़ा फेंक कर। ये देखो, 50 मीटर दूर ही कूड़ेदान रखा है, लेकिन ये लोग सीढ़ियां उतरकर वहां कूड़ा फेंकने नहीं आएंगे।
क्यों नहीं रश्का? जिसमें सफाई का भाव होता है वही ना सफाई करेगा। चलो देखो, सफाई सिर्फ तन या मन की नहीं होती, हमें अपने घर के आसपास भी सफाई रखनी चाहिए। अपने मोहल्ले में नगर निगम की हर दूसरे दिन गाड़ी आती है। अगर आप कूड़ेदान में कचरा डालने नहीं जा सकते तो कम से कम कूड़े वाली गाड़ी को ही अपना कचरा दे दीजिए।
हाँ, भला उसमें बुराई ही क्या। लेकिन बस लोग कूड़ा फेंकना नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
तुम्हें पता है रश्का, जिन लोगों की आदतें गंदी होती है ना, वो अपने घर के पास इसी तरह गंदगी फैलाते हैं। ऐसे लोग जल्द ही बीमारियों के शिकार होते हैं। गंदगी के आसपास कई तरह के कीटाणु, बैक्टीरिया, फंगस आदि पैदा होते हैं और वही बीमारियों को जन्म देते हैं।
और इन बीमारियों की चपेट में अगर कोई भी व्यक्ति आया तो वो कई को संक्रमित कर सकता है।
कई बार तो संक्रामक बीमारियां इतनी हावी हो जाती हैं कि उनका इलाज तक संभव नहीं हो पाता और फिर मरीज की जान तक चली जाती है। इसलिए सफाई बेहद जरूरी है। हमें अपने घर के आसपास साफ और स्वच्छ वातावरण रखना चाहिए। चलो चलते हैं।
दीदी, मुझे माफ कर दीजिए। मैं अब से कूड़ा कभी सड़क पर नहीं डालूंगा, हमेशा कूड़ा कूड़ेदान में डालूंगा।
स्वच्छ तन, स्वच्छ मन, स्वच्छ जीवन। आइए स्वच्छता अपनाएं, देश को आगे बढ़ाएं।